The last comment that has been made by a few scholars in regards to this ayah is the definition of real love and concern and finding real happiness with the family. That one has to realize that what you think you're doing for the family now to make them happy isn't necessarily an act of love. It can even be an act of animosity. So Allah Azza wa Jalla says, إِنَّ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ وَأَوْلَادِكُمْ عَدُوًّا لَكُمْ فَاحْذَرُوهُم. Even out of your spouses and children, they are enemies for you, then look out for them. Watch out. Watch out of them. Why does He say that? How can your spouse and your children be enemies to you? When you think that, you do things to make them happy and they do things to make you happy that displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the real happiness, the real surur is when the family comes together and they come to the obedience of Allah. For example, Allah says, وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. Command your family to the prayer. Tell your family to pray and be perseverant in that. وَاصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anhu used to wake up his family for Qiyam al-Layl, which isn't even mandatory, and he used to recite that ayah. وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. Subhanallah. Radiallahu anhu. So that's the attitude of real love. And a lot of times our children, and this is a side comment before we continue inshallah, our children, and our spouses perhaps even, they feel like we're dragging them into Islam. Or we're pulling them in, we're forcing it on them and things like that. You should first of all, make the deen feel like something so beautiful that they want to come to it. They want to come to it. And if they find it difficult or you find reluctance in that, you have to be patient with it. And you have to keep at it. You can't give it up. You can't say they don't want to hear it. You have to remember the legacy of Nuh alayhi salam. Right? It's easy for me to get up here and talk to you and I don't know your family and you don't know mine, etc. But imagine a man has to talk to his own family. The people who have no holds barred, they can say whatever they want. It's family. You get away with anything. And your family can hurt your feelings the best. Right? But to have sabr with them, for the purpose of them eventually, you and them finding eternal joy in the end. That's the real purpose. So don't be lazy in making da'wah to your family. That's really important. A lot of times we get lazy in making da'wah to our family because it's hard. You'll become the object of ridicule every time you get together with the rest of the family, or they get annoyed with you easily, right? So it's very, very difficult. But you have to stay on it because this is one of the goals, one of the great joys of paradise, that we are together with our families. May Allah grant all of us that. Last thing about the interpretation of ila ahlihi, it's not just any family member. Ila ashiratihi in kanu mu'minin. Number one, it is to his relatives, his large numbers of relatives, so long as they had been believers. Wa ila fariqil mu'minin, and of course to the group of the believers. Meaning the believers are like family. When we say La ilaha illallah, that in itself makes us family. It's a kind of family that's even stronger than blood in many ways.